Pounders, we are live, and today I'm going to have a special guest, a little surprise guest, Nick, NF42 on Underdog. Some of you guys know him from the Discord. If you're not already in our Discord, free draft guy for Bestball Mania. If we hit 1,000 subscribers before NFL Kickoff, we'll be doing a 24-hour live stream. And Nick's got us some exciting data today. And it's a spreadsheet basically from all of your Bestball Mania 4 drafts. You're completely finished. You did all 150, and you've started to sift through how much positive and negative ADP from BBM opening ADPs versus today's, basically, right? And kind of seeing that total.
Yep, that's absolutely correct.
So let's pull that.
It was very exciting to take a look at these numbers. I'm happy I'm finished with doing them. So just to break down, if we look at this, I broke down the averages for the first 75 drafts. It came out to about 73 average ADP advantage in my drafts. And I had a negative 44 on the 22 out of 75 drafts that were negative. The average was about negative 44 in ADP.
Okay. Have you noticed, was there one player that stuck out that really crushed those drafts?
Yeah, it was definitely Jalen Hyatt. He definitely blew up my numbers, as well as Dalvin Cook, as you can see here.
But he's getting steamed. He's getting steamed right now too. So those numbers won't even be.
He's at 199. But if I can just find a quick one, this is a terrible one. So
he's probably like 115 or 120, right? Because it wasn't that high.
Let me just find a negative
in the big board. In the big board, I remember he's around 110, 115 because of the chance of
draft 18, for example. I had him here. I drafted him 146, and I'm pretty sure he was probably around ADP value there. Again, he's dropped like 199 at the time. He was 200 when I did this. It was a minus 54 in overall ADP. So you get crushed. You get crushed on those kind of players.
He's on draft 18. He's on draft 19. I can see.
Yep. So he was one of them. I know Dalvin Cook was another one of them. Knox for me was another one when he was before he dropped to 179 or so. He was another player. Mostert for me killed some of my drafts because he was a little higher, obviously, in the beginning than he is now. My highest ADP in the first draft was 195, which seems like total plus, which I'll go down to this team really quick just to show you. It was draft 60, I believe.
And on the opposite side of things, so like Hyatt was the one that hurt your teams the most. Who was someone that was your biggest riser that you found on a lot of your teams to kind of boost your ADP value?
It would have probably been Mixon, who risen, a ton. Obviously, a lot of these rookie receivers have moved up a ton, like Quentin Johnson, Zay Flowers. Van Jefferson, he was buried at the very beginning. Rondell Moore was buried at the beginning. We can actually look at these are the players that I found in a lot of these early drafts that now they've obviously significantly moved. But Jerick McKinnon at the beginning was ADP 212 and sometimes going undrafted. Now he's in like the 123 range. So 195 being my highest score, I actually took in my second overall draft this team. I'm sorry to have to call this drafter out. I feel terrible. Jay Puppy, if you're in here, I apologize, but I'm going to have to give you some bad news. I think you would have won BBM4 if you would have optimized your team, or if you just had like a crystal glass ball and you saw the future. So on the left side is the players that were available at the picks that he had, and the right is his draft. The green is going to be the players that he actually selected, which were right, and the white are going to be the players that are on his team. But on the left side of the white, these are players that were available at the time during the draft.
I see.
So he went from having potentially a 438 potential ADP advantage to negative 43 overall. That hurts so much to see. Just look at this juggernaut team he could have had. I did the math. He would have had about 24 picks advantaged. Each pick was about 24 picks ahead, based on the math here. And
what's funny
yeah,
is when you go back and you look at that team on the right, actually, like I don't like the Pittman selection, but other than that, we can see a Hopkins, Waller, Treylon Burks. Like if he ended up with the Tannehill click somehow, he picks
right.
Levis. And I guess you never know, right? You never
You didn't
know.
know then, right?
I would love that. I mean, if it was Tannehill, but that's pretty cool that he ends up with Hopkins on that team too. But yeah,
again, you see how the Hyatt pick here, he's negative 67
right.
now with how the ADPs have shifted.
Yep.
When he could have had Nico Collins at 133, and it would have been an 18, plus advantage on his part for taking him. But again, this team is just super stacked on the left. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to predict these kind of things, and certain players like Deontay Johnson at 50. Well, he would have had him at 84, it looks like.
Yes.
He probably was in that range actually during this draft. So, but in some of these cases, you had to probably assume these players were going to move in the positions they were, right?
Yeah. I mean, so did you just take a random person's draft that sort of had this is hilarious.
I saw his draft and I looked at it and I saw potential, and then I just ended up erasing all of his picks besides the ones that actually fit the right ADP selections. Right? Like Eckler at 12. Obviously you make that pick now. Metcalf at 36. He goes way before that. Quentin Johnson, Zay Flowers, Anthony Richardson, all those players, they go way before those selections. So, of course, if you were drafting in the future, you would take Quentin Johnson at 108, right?
Right. So I think what's going to be interesting is actually tracking this data for next year and sort of seeing how your drafts do. Did you go through and rename them with like the plus minus per draft?
No, I just have this Excel sheet now, but I do have all my drafts in BBM, like in the Underdog, listed as like number 1 through 150 now, so I can kind of just go back.
I'd be more curious about weeks 1 to 14. How well did your total ADP plus team score versus the ones that were underneath?
And then see which teams actually advance and which don't. Maybe like a negative correlation ends up being better than my numbers suggest.
And then your top 15 teams versus your bottom 15.
Right.
And sort of see. Now, we know that ADP plus minus doesn't mean anything if the pick's right. It's right.
Correct.
We can look at Josh Jacobs just completely losing it over the course of last season, going down 5 picks every week, it seemed like. Playing in the first preseason game. Like he was falling down the board at a rapid rate. Now, we're all trying to find the next Josh Jacobs.
Is this system saying that if my team scored 195 potential points in ADP, is it going to be like the winning team or a finalist team? I'm just saying that these teams, when you look at them, you can say that it's going to be hard for other people to duplicate the same teams because you don't get those ADP values now.
And they're not in the same range and all that.
Yeah. So it's very hard to duplicate.
So your back end, your final 75 squads, 52.2 plus minus for ADP.
Correct.
From BBM Open versus today's ADPs. And then so 7 total negative was an average of minus 30, 68 were positive. So we've had you on the show before, and we've actively spoken about risers and fallers from BBM Open, the starting ADPs, and kind of tracking those and then sort of pivoting, right? So this is like the classic in the big board when Karain steamed up Israel Abanikanda. Instantly pivoted to Kendre Miller, who was going at that 190, 200 range because he wasn't steamed up yet. So it's a small pivot and you're getting a better price on, another guy that we expect to rise. And then Israel Abanikanda, I mean, if Dalvin Cook goes there, like those shares are dead. And I liked Israel Abanikanda too for the big board. But just to say, like, so highest ADP in the last 75 drafts is plus 140. Can we go to that team?
Yeah, sure. Let me find it. I think I have it labeled. Drafts number. Okay, I messed that up, but we'll find it. Shouldn't take that long.
Plus 124.
Let's go down at the halfway point.
And then, I mean, we're always projecting risers and fallers and who we think is the next guy. And I mean, training camp helps with a lot of that stuff. You're going to see a ton of movement in training camp. So we do try to use this news to our advantage and draft around it.
Let me know if it catches your eye while I'm scrolling here.
129.
Oh, here it is. I have it in yellow right here.
That a boy. So AJ Brown lost a spot. Obviously, you're not going to get too much movement in the first round anyways. Garrett Wilson.
So what I found, right, is in the first 4 rounds, you don't really get too much movement. The most I had out of 150 drafts was, I think, 21. That was like one of the first drafts I did with Lamar Jackson. He ended up going 21 picks after ADP now. But for the majority of this, either it's usually like a couple ahead or maybe a couple behind. The biggest change in ADP I found was like in rounds maybe 6 through 9. And that's where you start really hammering a lot of the plus or minus ADP. And then the back end of the draft, you can either sink or kind of, I guess, float your team.
Right. That makes sense. So Calvin Ridley, Keenan Allen, who's been steamed up, Justin Herbert, Marquise Brown, Jordan Addison, Darren Waller, AJ Dillon, Antonio Gibson, who, man, 98's rich now.
Right.
Brian Robinson, you grabbed them both. Very interesting.
Yeah, well, they both fell, right? Obviously. Yeah. So maybe Antonio Gibson at the time was around ADP. It was 113 at the time, but I definitely think Brian Robinson fell. And, at that point I just said, it's a good stack. I feel like if I'm going to stack any running back room, Washington's got to be one of the ones I don't mind doing.
They have separate roles. Daniel Jones, interesting. The stack with Waller, Schultz, Rashawn Johnson, Foreman, Ty Chandler, Paris Campbell. So like that's the benefit of stacking too. When you get someone on the offense, if they do end up working out.
This team ended up getting a few stacks, which at the time I'm sure I liked, but it worked to my favor as well.
Right. Yeah, and that's the benefit of stacking. I mean, sure, you can be wrong, but how do you create the most upside is
right. But do you want to stack? My question is, if you're going to stack, do you want to stack obviously when it's positive ADP, or are you going to stack and cause your team to have negative ADP?
Well, that's the thing. I think with Paris Campbell at the time, that was I think that was a good time when you were drafting him because he was currently being steamed up. So I think you hit the news before the ADPs adjusted, which is another thing we talk about doing. Just constantly getting a better price than the next drafters.
Yeah.
Definitely important. But yeah, anything else you want to touch on?
Yeah. So, I mean, the biggest thing that I noticed obviously was the first 75 drafts. The range of outcomes were either like really great or really bad. And you could see the numbers reflect that with my highest score and also my lowest ADP score was in my first 75. And then towards the back end, it kind of, I guess, plateaued. And,
but you have more news too.
I had more positive and less negative drafted teams. But of course, my average ADP that I gained was less. My average negative ADP was less. But it seems just like as you wait longer, the ADPs smooth out and you don't force as much error that way.
I'd like to correlate this when you start listening to our channel. No, that's impressive though. The last 75 having 68 with positive ADP and 7 in the negative versus the first one, which is still good.
Yeah.
You had 53 positive teams and 22 in the minus.
Yeah. Right.
And the minus being relatively
yeah, and
similar.
the negatives in the first were a lot harsher than the last 75. So those
which is expected.
Those teams could be even more cooked than the last 7.
It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. All right, should we switch over to some training camp updates?
Let's talk some guys.
And I think the most interesting. Oh, we're really big. I think the most interesting one that we can touch on first is the Travion injury, what this does to the Cincy backfield. And is it too early of an injury
Were
for us
you
to
a big
start
believer
celebrating.
in him to begin with?
No,
Because he's
I was
going
still on Chase.
undrafted, right?
I was on the Chase Brown bandwagon,
Yeah,
just due to
same
just being
here.
a absolute freak athlete. The measurables in the combine were ridiculous.
Right, broken
Um,
tackle rate is extremely
sure,
high.
Trayvon Williams was expected to have some of that third down work to start the season, but could he keep it up? But I think it's actually positive. So Shefty reported that it's a mild ankle sprain, likely to miss a couple of weeks. Guess what that does? Keeps him on the roster. It keeps a veteran running back from coming in like Lenny, who would destroy Chase Brown's value, in my
Oh,
opinion. I'd
definitely.
rather have Travion Williams there, and Lenny's not in shape, but he's never in shape this time of year. That shouldn't be a surprise. But Trayvon Williams injury, mild ankle sprain, likely to miss a couple of weeks. Chase Brown going to get more of that work as the RB2 behind Mixon. I think this is a really good opportunity for Chase Brown. And my God, I have him as a bring back in that KC game. Way too much of the time, let's say.
Yeah, well, Chase Brown was also one of the guys that affected my first 75 drafts because his ADP actually has moved in the
From
opposite
like
direction.
165 to like
Yeah.
200.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. So I was
Yeah.
grabbing him at ADP, and so obviously that didn't help my data. But I'm a big believer in Chase Brown regardless. And Mixon is an injury-prone guy. You know, well, he's one injury away from getting some actual time on the field, I think. And even without Mixon being hurt, I think Chase Brown can find his way on some third downs.
Yeah. So the other major injury today is Alexander Madison. And I think it's undisclosed still at this point, but he was seen limping near the end of the practice.
Yep.
He
Just
stayed
came
on the
out.
field to watch, but this one's interesting because I feel like this one starts fights. Like anything about Madison, you're either on this side or you're on this. There's no in between. And I'm definitely on the minus side of Madison, so I don't mind to see this. But I was also not heavily drafting Ty Chandler. More of a
Well,
Dwayne
I don't know
McBride
if Ty
cat.
Chandler, he obviously benefits with Madison being out, but I do think McBride benefits the most because McBride is the similar play style to Madison.
He'd be the
And
goal line guy too
yeah, and Ty
in that
Chandler is more
offense.
of, I think, the receiving back out of the three. So I think he was still going to have that role with Madison being either injured or hurt.
Yep.
McBride, I think, just gets more first and second down carries if they believe in him.
Right. Exactly. So I think, again, sort of like the Cincy deal, it's not necessarily, you can't celebrate yet. Like there are too many free agent running backs out there for injuries to happen and some fifth round running back be the number one guy. It's too early. Now, if these free agent running backs were signed, Hunt, Lenny, Dalvin, yeah, sure, the risk goes down. But again, we don't know Madison's injury right now. I do think it's a time that we have to be drafting either Ty Chandler or Dwayne McBride, whoever your preference is. And Dwayne McBride hasn't practiced yet.
Their ADPs are also close enough where, it's not like you can pick either Ty Chandler or McBride and pick one of the two.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm completely fine with either stance. I think ETR is on Ty Chandler's side, but they were also on Madison, I believe. So it's kind of a tricky one.
But I do think this Madison news is a little fake. I think obviously he's hurt. Like he got hurt, he limped off the field, but I don't think it's going to be a severe injury. And I think he's probably back week 1. So I don't really think it hurts his,
no doubt.
He still has the job secure, right?
No doubt. But I think it is a little positive if he has some sort of injury. Maybe it lingers for those backup running backs. That's where I think it's interesting. If they get too hurt, that's where it's almost a negative because they have time to bring in a free agent running back. So that's where, it's tough to victory lap at this time of the year. Too many free agent RBs left where wide receivers, you're not really worried about it. Like Tim Patrick goes down, they're not going to sign anybody. So like Mims makes out huge in that deal. But other news, like Terry McLaurin definitely connected with Sam Howell in recent days. You can see the connection there. Jalen Hyatt, I've seen a lot of Hyatt videos on the Twitter machine. Breakaway speed. Dude looks fast. He looks smooth. So
That's good to hear.
Definitely want to see more. Yeah. So your Jalen Hyatt picks that crushed your ADP value in that spreadsheet. I think you'll make some plus on the way back around.
Yeah, but do you think he ever gets back to his original ADP
No,
by the
fuck
time
no.
BBM
No.
closes?
Hell
Right?
no.
No. He'll
No
stay
chance.
at most he would go up to like in the 180s, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So
175-ish. But
any people that took Hyatt, obviously those shares are not worth what they're going to be worth ever again.
And here's a Pounders update. Tyquan Thornton, first like 3 days of practice, didn't catch a single pass. And then day 4, he caught 2 touchdown passes. So they're mostly working in the red zone right now. I think there is an overreaction. I saw some Twitter brains tweet about it, how like he should be a last round pick. It's like, they're working in the red zone right now. You can't use his full skill set, with his speed in the red zone when there's only so much field. So he does have to work, and he said out himself, he has to work at like high pointing the ball and, getting open in that regard in the red zone. But it seems like day 4, he scored twice. So that's good news. But
what I was happy about with my 150 drafts was my Tim Patrick exposure.
Okay.
Which was 0%.
Damn.
Yep.
Okay. How about your Mims exposure? Where are you at?
3%.
Okay. So you didn't even leverage. You're just like, all right, the wide receiver 3 in Denver, 0 points.
But I would take 3% Mims and 0% Tim Patrick deal as opposed to like having 5% Tim Patrick and 8% Mims, right?
Okay. Yeah, I think you should be leveraging.
I should have more, obviously, but
that's fine. But if you're not high on, like, are you high on Russ? Like, what's the Russ exposure? You know what I mean? Is that correlated? Because if the take's correlated, it's completely fine. But if you have like 13% Russ, you'd probably do want.
I think my highest owned Denver receiver was probably Sutton, just because of where he was being drafted. And
speaking of Sutton, he had a nice one-hand catch today in tight coverage. So it's good to see him out there making plays. Michael Wilson, dude. So the hype is every single day, every single practice. Michael Wilson, rookie receiver for the Cardinals. Sort of, I think he's their biggest guy.
My boy out of Stanford.
Yeah, it's the land of the Munchkins right now in Arizona. So Michael Wilson, a nice little target. We'll see if they make him sort of the X receiver there.
He
in
still
Arizona.
has to beat out Greg Dortch, though, correct?
Yeah. Do they play the same role though?
Well, they have Brown, Rondell Moore, Greg Dortch, and Wilson, who I don't know if he lines up the same as Dortch. But then how does Wilson get on the field unless they run 4 receiver sets?
Right.
Like,
well, we'll see, because if they have Rondell Moore, it would likely be, he would have to get mixed in. But then like Zach Ertz, keeping an eye on the Zach Ertz FUD with Trey McBride. I'm definitely
he was just placed on pub, I believe, right?
Was he? Okay.
Yeah.
Love that news. Jesus, Pickens is he's insane in tight coverage. Like, that dude just goes up and make plays. I think he scooped it with one hand today. Tight coverage on the sideline, just gross. And another nice little nugget for the fans. Kenny Pickett in 2022 in preseason training camp, completion rate 50%, YPA 2.1, YPC 4.2. Kenny Pickett in 2023, completion percent up 8% at 58, YPA 6.6, and YPC 11.4. So almost tripling in both stats, really pushing the ball down the field, and he's getting more completions. So that is exactly what you want to see for Kenny Pickett in this offense, because they need it.
Yeah, well, you need someone to catch the ball when last season Deontay Johnson dropped everything.
Yeah. The hands, on the back end of the season, he was doing better, but he was being sat. He got punished a little bit. But
and I think Allen Robinson's getting some love there too. I'm seeing some good news out of him. So
he is. He could be something in the red zone just due to his stature, but like, they're mixing him into the slot too.
He's in the
It's
slot. He's not just going to be a red zone guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
You know?
it looks like they're trying to get him involved. So people did not like the Allen Robinson news from the other day training camp, but it's there. And if we see it every single day and they put him in a position that he can succeed, he's a big dude. So we'll see.
He's being drafted in the last round.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Do you lose anything for taking him?
No,
Not really.
no, just like Devontae Parker, like everyone's kind of writing off Devontae Parker, but I mean, someone's got to catch balls. It's a team that didn't add anyone on offense. So, I mean,
Yeah,
Mike Gesicki.
Well, Thornton is their guy, but
I hope, but like I don't think we'll see if he's made that leap. They did pay Devontae Parker, so they're paying him to be that dude. So we will not fall for A-Rob again. The thing is, whoever fell for it last year fell for it in the 5th round or even earlier.
Yeah.
This news I loved. Tyler Lockett on a long touchdown, but it looks like there might have been a little defense mishap there. But hey, that means it's a good route by Tyler Lockett. So
how about Matt Collins? Have you seen pictures of this dude?
Yeah, it looks like a beast.
Looks
like a beast. Same haircut as Desmond Ridder. I'm for it. I'm absolutely for it.
He said he'd play football barefoot if he could. And then he called out people that eat with utensils, and he said that
they're soft or something.
They're soft.
Yeah.
You should be eating with your hands. I like that kind of player.
Barbaric.
Right.
Barbaric. Jordan Addison, deep route, 40-yard titty. Love to see that from the rookie. Already making plays. And yeah, I think that's the most of it from today.
He's speeding on and off the field. It's good.
Yeah, exactly. But is there anyone that like you really want to target right now from just like a perspective of like potential riser?
Yeah. Can we maybe take a look at the list just to see some names? I mean, we just mentioned Allen Robinson. I don't know if he would ever, move tremendously, but maybe guys like, look, Justin Ross is getting a lot of good news too in camp. And
oh God.
And obviously Tony's been falling, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's slowly falling. You have Richie James getting up there now. He's climbing a little bit. But any of these receivers attached to Mahomes, they string together like a month of practice and good reps. I could see them moving up like 10, 20 spots.
And they have been.
With some news.
Definitely.
Ross is slowly climbing, right? He was in the 215 range at one point, and now he's not 100% sure where he's at, but he's in like the 18th round, I believe. 17th round.
Yeah, 195. Now, Tony, I saw a report today that he's going to miss like 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to reconfirm that with the source that I found that from, but that is huge, especially for the receivers behind him. But the problem I have with it is like we've seen this offense without Tony last year, and no one succeeded. No one succeeded besides Travis Kelce. It's like it's not like it's anything new. Now, if we're gonna project a breakout, Sky Moore he's having a good training camp, but like Rashee Rice, I'm drafting Rashee Rice over MVS personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've liked what I've seen from him in camp. And then even Prince, he's being steamed up now. He has a role, I guess, in special teams, which is going to keep him on this team, and he might start eating into Jerick McKinnon's role. So,
yeah, no, a lot of people are comparing him to like what Pacheco did, and they're saying he's a sleepy guy to just kind of get in there and steal a job away from people.
Man.
Because Pacheco was a nobody, right? Obviously, when Clyde was being drafted, no one was expecting Pacheco to steal his job, and look what happened with that.
Yeah. Rushing collusion brings up Cooks. Looks great in Dallas. We brought that up yesterday. Had a nice long yard, 70-yard touchdown, something like that. Richie James is going undrafted like a week ago. Exactly. So this is where you can sort of get that advantage on the early drafter on teams that weren't picking these players, like Michael Wilson too, if he turns out being something.
I'm just looking at some ADPs and names. I think like a guy like John Mechie can, maybe get up to the late 150, 160 range. So he's a guy that maybe if you click on him now, you might be able to get like 18 picks.
Definitely.
An advantage on that.
Definitely. Same thing with Mims. He's probably going to be steamed up.
Oh
He'll be steamed up to in front of Thielen, I think, pretty easily by Mingo.
You should be taking Mims, I think, in the 150s at this point. If he's available.
I would say early 160, late 150, but that's just me.
But here's the thing: you're trying to predict where they may go, right? So I think he's in the realm of that
140
Alec Pierce because of this news and what people will do. I mean, he's gonna slowly just creep his way up, I think.
Yeah. No, I don't think Mechie's going past Mingo, but there's very reasonable ways that Mims makes it to the Mingo range for sure.
Yeah. Especially because they just got rid of KJ Hamler, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, so he's 100% locked into the third role there on that team now.
So we tipped off the Patreon members. We tipped off the YouTube memberships. We appreciate you guys. We are at the influencer 2 spot. We'll take it. We'll take it. It's like the knockoff influencer spot. King of Kings here at the 5 spot. Oh my God, did we luck out? Is that it?
Did you see someone posted in Discord? There was a draft room where somebody was drafting next to a guy named Justin Fields, and he had the 101. So instead of taking Jefferson, he took Justin Fields just because the guy next to him was named. How great is that?
That's the ultimate troll. That is the ultimate troll. I hope it's BBM too. Give us JJ at the 1 spot. I was going to say, this guy's thinking about it for 25 seconds. He's either not there or he might actually not go JJ. Turns out he wants him. We see he'll go
I'm
at
sure you're
3.
happy with Chase.
Oh, hell yeah. Dude, I can't complain.
Yeah.
If anyone snuck into this draft room with us and we didn't mention your name, let us know in the chat so we can follow your team. Cup at 5, CMC at 4. Cup at 5 still feels good.
Oh, yeah.
Any of these names look familiar? Scam Newton looks familiar. King of Kings, he's a pounder. And then the rest of them, we got a lot of badgeless peeps.
Yeah, I can't say I've drafted with anybody here, but
I've been seeing rooms like this very often. And the team that we drafted yesterday, like we got Devonta Smith at pick 32 yesterday on a BBM squad, plus 10 picks of ADP.
Well, I think a lot of people with badges are holding their bullets, and they've drafted, maybe halfway through or so, and now they're kind of waiting for this period of time now that a lot of news is breaking for stuff to kind of clear, like to have certainty of what's actually going on.
Yep. And that's why I saved my bullets for the end. I mean, I have 30 something left. And it's just drafting around news. I think that is another angle that I want to attack, and also be able to smooth out your exposures on players that are either getting steamed up or players that you want to fade towards the end. I think that's fine. I do have players that I'm trying to target right now just based on my own exposures and where they're at, where I want more of one player, I want less. Like I probably need more Justin Herbert. I wouldn't mind if I had Justin Fields in every single team to end my draft, though. I really wouldn't.
Yeah.
Darren Waller. I want more of Waller. I've been steaming him up on my own streams, but so much that other people take him. So I can't. It's like the most minus EV thing.
Yeah, it's tough to be in a stream and people watching, and you're actually giving away what you want to do in your picks, and then hoping people actually don't take your advice. I feel.
But sometimes it's like that's just based on my own portfolio, and like you have to make picks based on your own portfolio.
Right.
It's not always like apples to apples.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra Bijan's a pretty awesome start. It's a weird way to get it.
He kind of went the opposite.
It's a weird way to get it, but he got it.
Like, he could have went Bijan and then maybe got St. Brown, but he did the
Right.
exact opposite.
Right. It's a flip-flop. It's
Yeah.
not unique, but I like it still. It probably is a little more unique. Amon-Ra typically going at 13 to 15 nowadays, and Bijan going from 7 to 9.
Right.
On the typical. We see Barkley go at 18. Like, I love this start. Look, the fact that you can still get Barkley at 18 is insane.
I'm assuming the guy wasn't expecting Bijan to come back to him. That's why he passed on him to begin with, and he was probably going to try a different route. But
do we go TT here? And I'm actually fine with. I'm fine with going like JT.
I kind of like trying to push him and then securing.
But pushing him to 26 doesn't make a huge difference. Who do we want with our next pick?
If you wanted to go for the Burrow, maybe try and do the Higgins and Chase, and then get Burrow because he's probably might go quarterback. I'm just assuming this guy will probably maybe take a quarterback here, and that means when it comes back around to you, if Burrow's on the board, you can kind of push him to the 4th round. I'm sorry, 5th round.
Yeah, but man, like the 5th round is 50. We'll see if it's a badgeless. It's a badgeless room. That's what scares me, I think.
I also don't know. He might be on auto, so that could have been a mistake on our end.
Yeah, well, no, because he selected his first pick with 4 seconds left, so it wasn't an auto pick. His first pick. Now he lets this one run all the way down. We'll see. Come on, Timmy. Is he going Jalen? Auto Jalen. Dude, not on auto, but he's just queuing and letting it tick down. Okay. Which is probably even more annoying. I like Stevenson here. Or bringing in another receiver. I'm fine with that too. We can go Ridley too. That would be kind of unique.
I don't mind Stevenson now with the Cook going to the Jets thing.
Are you worried about Lenny landing in New England? I guess the report was that he wasn't in shape when he showed up for that workout, which isn't surprising.
Well, that's great for Stevenson, right?
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. But it seems like the Patriots are determined to bring in another running back. They worked out like 4 vets. They even worked out Darrell Henderson. Like, that'd probably be the best case scenario if they add Darrell Henderson, who really wouldn't threaten Stevenson at all. But yeah, you are getting Stevenson at a cheaper price right now because the fear of Cook, I guess it's still there a little bit, but I think it is leaning towards the Jets right now.
Yeah, Cook's the only back I'd really, really think it could kill Stevenson's value, right? I don't think Fournette and Zeke move the needle enough for me to worry too much about those goal line TDs. And yeah, I think Stevenson's just a good back. He's safe, in my opinion, for now.
Yeah, I agree. And you're sort of getting this suppressed ADP based off that Dalvin scare too.
Yeah. And I mean, if you take JT instead of him, then maybe you don't get value at other players later in the draft, like Evan Hull, because why would you want to take Evan Hull if you have JT in your team? So
right.
You know, we have options now. We could play with the Colts running backs later on if we really wanted to. My mind's still in weekly mode since I've been doing all those drafts now, and I'm like, oh, that would be lovely because Stevenson and Taylor share the same bias. So Hull and Stevenson are great weekly backs.
The weekly big brain strats are insane. When you go down the rabbit hole of what you can do in weeklies, like what is actually viable. And basically it comes down to like anything's viable.
Yeah, I took my last draft. I had 4 running backs all in the same bye week 5 and Aaron Jones. So I had 4 bye week 5 and a bye week 6 player. It's like you would never do that in obviously best ball. It wouldn't make any sense, but it's fun doing it in weekly.
King of Kings doing something interesting here, going Cooper Kupp, Devonta Smith, and Lamar Jackson over Josh Allen. Super interesting. And then the Diggs Barkley team gets Josh Allen. Whew, man.
So the thing is now
that's
with
a
Burrow,
start, dude. That's a start.
Hopefully nobody in this room wants Burrow because we took all the important pieces pretty much. And I think now you kind of have to take him if he comes to us in the third round.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm worried. I'd be worried about this guy to your left picking up Burrow.
Dude, I'm definitely worried about this guy bringing both picks all the way down. He's making me nervous. It's not even his turn yet. ETN, someone I'm really fading in this range, especially with the news that Tank Bigsby is having a huge impact in the red zone. Someone shared a GIF of a train just steamrolling. It's like, for Tank Bigsby in the red zone. So that's nerve-wracking for ETN. Even if he works out a role on third down, like ETN needs probably 5 targets a game to really validate this
gonna
ADP.
lose his job to Tank Bigsby, but I could see obviously maybe 60 to 30% game script if that's really how they want to use him.
So you think like a 60-40, 70-30?
Oh, I'm sorry. I said 60. Yeah, 60.
Like, there's 10% missing.
Yeah, 70-30, 60-40, something in that range. If
60-40 would be detrimental.
It would be really bad. I honestly don't think it would be 40% either, but
dude, give me Najee here. If he falls, we're going Najee here and we'll push Burrow. But honestly, I'm cool with going Fields too. Like, I wouldn't mind if Fields fell to us.
Right. If you have 2 quarterback options here, it makes it easy. But
this guy needs a receiver.
You could even go Mixon, which would be nutty. Maybe
that's
overkill.
True. It would be overkill. Fuck. I wanted it bad. This guy double taps these 2 receivers, and I probably cry.
Really? You'd rather take that and then just take whatever quarterback he gives you?
That's the thing. Like, I can go Burrow, and if Burrow gets stolen, like, I'm cool with going Fields. If he double taps these QBs,
both of them?
Yeah, then I guess we just add Christian Kirk, you know. But like, if we have a rushing QB and we don't get Burrow, you can find the game script where Chase and Higgins goes off and Fields still has a bigger game than Burrow.
Yeah.
This guy's scaring me. The auto pick on JSN. Oh, yeah, boy. Okay. Nice. So he didn't go either. He didn't go either receiver at ADP. Now, if we did go instead of T Higgins and we did go JT, this would probably be a Justin Fields click for me, especially based on the injury.
I love the Burrow Chase Higgins stack. I mean, you're playing into the narrative
Week 17, baby.
I mean, you're playing into the narrative. Chase and Higgins are going to be great, right? And that would mean Burrow has to be great.
100%.
If Burrow's 100%. Hurt or doesn't play or sucks, then this draft
team's
room
dead anyways.
Is dead anyway. So
yeah,
we have to do it.
No, 100%. It's nice to like go back into your exposure, see what QBs you want, and then look at their ADPs and see what draft position you have to be around to get them, and sort of know where they land. So then you can already start planning your team before you get down to it. And I think it's interesting to do that with the QBs because basically you're trying to correlate with those QBs.
And you're, by the way, you're getting Burrow probably at the best value you possibly could get him in since BBM's opened. This is probably where, I mean, obviously Burrow probably does fall in other draft rooms. It's I'm not saying it doesn't, but I'm saying for the most part, on average, Burrow probably goes around where you have him now or earlier in the year.
Basically, right when Bestball Mania opened, he was being panic picked at 26, 27, wherever T. Higgins or Chase was going. And then he quickly started falling, but he was still randomly being selected here. And those teams that draft based on ADP, the ADP hoes in the chat, they would randomly select them, or auto drafters would select him based on the ADP. Now that his ADP is later at 48, you are seeing this stack more
Burrow
successful
and Fields
now.
both kind of fell like the same range. They're kind of in
Mm-hmm.
that grouping together. But
Mm-hmm.
again, I can't imagine Burrow's going to fall any further than we have him at the moment. So
right. Yeah, no, I'm cool with it. Yeah, you can't really push him to 71, even with the news that he's going to miss a few weeks. Like, I still expect him to be out there week 1 on a calf strain. Justin Fields at 54 to the DJ Moore. Oh man, this team's fire too. This team's fire.
That's nice.
Justin Fields and DJ Moore's have a nice connection through training camp. I've been reading.
Yeah, he played it right. He looked at the board and said, "Okay, the only players that don't have quarterbacks are on the corner,
Exactly.
and if one of those guys actually doesn't pick a quarterback, knowing that you're probably taking Burrow, he's probably just counting on the guy to your left not
Right.
to take Fields. He's
Right, Timmy D,
he's
the
going
wild
to
card.
yeah. As long as you take Burrow and do your job, he said, I'm definitely getting Fields because these other guys all have elite quarterbacks. So it was smart of him to go DJ Moore where he got him.
Now maybe we go Burrow and Jay Fields there. Really, really big brain this draft. I haven't done too many teams like that going to elite QBs, but Burrow and Fields, if you really do think Fields should be in the 3rd round, could we make it work? I think it'd be fun to try one of these days.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look, if Fields was to fall somehow, like fall way out of ADP, then I absolutely see no problem going to elite quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like even 54.
If you have Mahomes, Hurts, Allen, well, Allen's got the same bye week, right? He's 13. Yeah.
Yep.
So it wouldn't work with Allen. But Hurts and Mahomes, if you're in the 5th round and Fields is on the board, like I would 100% still take Fields because of that reason alone. I don't care. I have Mahomes on my team. It's a 5th round Fields.
See, I don't think I could do that with the top 3, just based on like capital.
Really?
I'd more like to try that with like the middle round guys. I would think, just based on like last year. Think about like Mahomes. Mahomes was a 5th rounder. I've been trying to mix in more George Pickens here, but I also want Waller for this squad. We could do like I have so much
Andrews,
Jahan Dotson.
So you're not worried about it.
No, I shouldn't be. And 2 tight ends ahead of us.
Yeah. I like it.
I have so much Dotson. I'd have to click off him. Just have to click off him once here.
Yeah, smooth out your exposure.
Steve says, I don't know about y'all, but I'm big on Seattle this year. Loving my DK locking Geno stacks as much as my Cincy stacks. Yeah, 100%, dude. 100%. Geno Smith is an insane value at 115. Goff, I like at 130. Daniel Jones, I tweeted the other day, should be going at 94. I honestly believe that. This guy must be like multi-tabling a ton of drafts. Okay.
Man, I know you love Waller, but I would also love Dotson here. If I was your squad, but you kind of have a plan. You got to go with it.
Yeah, let's bring in Waller. I need to get the exposure up. I really do. We're running out of drafts, running out of drafts. I need to get my portfolio to where I want to be.
Yeah.
It also opens up Danny Dimes to this team. And you could stick with those 2 QBs.
Yeah.
The next pick is at 95 and 98. And this is right in the range where wide receivers start to fall off. In my opinion, we could go Jameson Williams.
What do you think about his news?
That he dropped a few balls. I think
that and he kind of threw a
little fight,
hissy fit with some of his teammates. So
that's fine. It's passion. I don't know, man. Get this guy in the football field.
Me, I hope so because I love drafting JMO in his range.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it. So
I agree.
I hope it's
I
fake
agree.
news.
That's the thing when it comes down to it, and they're playing NFL games. Like, who's going to compete with Jameson Williams to spread the field?
His hands.
Yeah, true. True.
Yeah.
But this is a good range for RBs too when we're coming back around. And I think we're going to want to add another RB in this range to this team.
Oh, yeah.
We could force a receiver. We could go like a Cortland Sutton if we're banking on Sutton and Judy, assuming more of those targets that Tim Patrick was going to get.
How about this Sky Moore just climbing everybody?
Dude, I can't put Sky Moore above Bateman, man. I can't.
I think
I won't
it's
do it.
outrageous.
I won't do it.
I mean, I get it. He's got all this hype in OTAs, and Mahomes is his quarterback. But what did he do last year?
Nothing.
I mean,
he did nothing.
He hasn't proven to me quite yet that he deserves to be where some of these guys are.
This is what happened last year, and everyone fell for it. You just kept getting steamed. You just kept getting steamed.
I don't get it. I really don't.
Ooh. Carlos says Seattle's my highest owned stacks. Drew, I remember when Chase couldn't catch in camp.
Oh my God. Do you remember that? That's hysterical.
Yeah. Big brain memory here from Drew.
That was a thing. Wow.
CD Lamb, Garrett. Try to peek some of these squads on the back end. This guy just goes Chubb, goes a shit ton of receivers, brings in Deshaun Watson. Nick Chubb caught a pass today in practice. I think that's all. That's all that Twitter needed. That's all that Twitter needed. Oh my God, he caught a pass. Like, I don't know.
What do people think? This guy has like brick hands or something? Like, come on.
No, it's just Deshaun Watson, not like the type of guy to really check it down all that much.
Oh, but dude, it's Chubb.
But yeah, but Chubb's. He's also not known for being like that pass catching RB. Like he'll get like 15 to 22 catches a year. It's sort of like the Derrick Henry thing. If he can get up to 35,
wouldn't he have more if Kareem Hunt wasn't there?
I think so. I think so. And we're going to see it.
Is great at catching balls. Of course he's not catching balls.
I think we'll see it this year. And I think there is a real road for him to get 130. Bateman off the board.
Dude, I missed drafting Chubb in like the 20s. It was the best.
I know. 27, 28 on the big board. What an ugly range this is. What an ugly range this is. This guy's got 2 receivers. This is not the range where you want to go receiver. But he
has the Tyreek Hill Tua thing going, but he already has a quarterback.
He goes Dylan. He's on the live stream.
I'll be honest. If you need a running back here, I'm between Cook and Gibson.
Fuck.
I wouldn't take a tight end. I think you desperately need a running back too.
I think Penny's the click.
Oh boy.
I think Penny's the click.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, this is kind of an exposure smooth out pick, but getting positive steam in camp. I think we could easily bring him in here versus like where he started around 120. Gibson started around 130.
Has Swift had like negative news or?
He's going to be a third down guy. That's sort of the talk out of camp.
Okay.
I think we could just outdraft people in the back end anyways. So I think if we get a lead at tight end, I think it gives us an interesting angle. Now, 120, can we get Danny Dimes at 119 would be the question with this team.
Yeah, you could. I don't think you can take him now. I think you have to fill out some positions here. And
yeah,
I mean, you don't like JMO either in the spot?
I'm cool with JMO here, but I think, if we go this second tight end in this spot, we do gain a position on the back end where we can bring in one of those like Evan Hull or extra RBs on the back end.
Okay.
that could be a big value. Let's rock with these 4 for now. This is a good 4 to kind of stand on our hill. We'll draft a little differently this squad.
Okay, we're definitely getting different.
We are definitely getting different here.
There's no question about it.
We are in a different world, and I'm okay with it.
What do you think about Dalvin Cook and like where he's going in terms of like his ADP? And do you think he's just going to keep climbing out of the 100s?
I think he goes in the right range. Let's put it that way. Like where AJ Dillon's going. Obviously, 2-headed monster in Green Bay. Where Rashad Penny's going, but I don't think he should go near like James Conner. I don't think he should go near Rashad White.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, sure. Near Cook. I think that's fine. Some of these teams, like they have these 2 RB thing going on. Even David Montgomery with Gibbs.
What team do you think hurts his value the most?
Probably the Jets for the end of the season, having Breece Hall to have come back to some sort of form of himself from early
Breece
season.
Hall's definitely the best running back to compete against out of the group for sure.
I mean, even if he ends up in New England, like that's not good for Dalvin Cook. Like, he'll have 40-45% the workload,
and it doesn't look like Denver, which I was hoping before because of Javonte. His news is clearing up. Obviously that's not happening. But
practiced
Miami,
in full today.
Miami's still an option.
Mm-hmm.
But he wants a lot of money, man. It's kind of.
I think I saw 10 to 15 million a year. He wants a 2-year deal.
He wants 15 million, I think. And he wants
teams want to give him 5.
He wants 3 years, and he wants guaranteed money on top of that. It's a lot to ask for.
Yeah, I think he'll settle for a 2-year deal. I'd be surprised if he gets more than 8.
I mean, dude, Rodgers gave up half of his contract.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, they're making room. He's definitely he's doing the old Brady thing.
Of course. Yeah.
Doing the old Brady thing. Put more players around me.
It was crazy for him to do that, but that definitely helps Dalvin's situation a lot.
Yeah. Rookie receiver on the Jets made an insane catch today. Who can name him?
You said it was a rookie receiver?
Yeah. I believe so. Was it Randall Cobb?
Yeah, he's old.
I might have it wrong. I have to check the bookmarks on the Twitter machine.
He just got drafted, you're saying? Or he was a rookie?
I thought so.
Man, I don't know the Jets. I don't know the Jets that well.
I have to self-check.
It can't be Corey Davis, obviously.
No, I could be off on that one. Alan Lazard dropping passes too in practice.
Oh, that's not good. I'm huge on Alan Lazard. He's like one of my highest owned players.
Dropping a lot of practices. Yeah, a lot of passes.
Yeah.
Randy, welcome to live stream. Hey, brother, have you thought about doing the 350 RotoWire draft? No, I haven't even looked into it, to be honest. If there's going to be overlay, I might steam into a draft right before the season starts. Like, you'll see me doing a lot of that. If like drafters doesn't fill, like I'll start getting into the overlay drafts. And overlay is basically when a tournament doesn't fill, but it's guaranteed money, guaranteed payouts. You're basically just makes it more plus EV to draft in those. So like weeklies. So like, do you think weeklies are gonna fill?
I don't. I think
either do I.
I think they're gonna have some problems now that where BBM's at.
Yeah. And I think this is why you haven't seen a tournament come out in the last how many days?
But I'm cool with that because I'm maxing my weeklies, so it gives me better odds.
Good for you. It's like you knew. It's like you do. I think I'm up to 40 weeklies. I was going to do 10, and then it was going to be 15.
Yeah, but they're so much fun. You just have to keep doing them.
Basically. Did you watch our streams with Dooley?
Yeah, I caught them. They were very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you been doing more late tight end builds?
I've done pretty much I stop at 3 tight ends, but I do try and correlate all my tight ends.
We should have Danny Dimes. This team has 2 QBs. Don't do it to us. Don't do it to us. Don't be a sicko. I do think this is the range where I start saying, hey, fuck it with the Charbonnet news.
Nice.
But I think we have to do Jones
here.
here.
Danny, 100%.
pair that with Waller,
Danny
and
Dimes.
we're starting to fit like a glove here.
Yeah, so I did a weekly today. I ended up getting Burrow, Pickett, and Tannehill as my three quarterbacks,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a 3-5-7-3 build. My tight ends were the Muth, Chicky,
The Muth.
yep, Chicky, and Herb Smith. So
Okay.
I correlated all my tight ends with my three quarterbacks in case those three random spike weeks happen. But
Mm-hmm.
my thing is that like if Burrow and Irv spike, that means Tannehill, Chiggy, and Pickett and Muth are just wasted spots in that week.
Okay. I
Right?
see what you're saying. Well,
Like it makes sense over the like 17 weeks. It gives me 3 bullets every week. But for that
mm-hmm.
1 week, how many teams are gonna have Pickett and Muth and not have 2 quarterbacks and 2 extra tight ends on their team? And they have it in other places.
It's more, it just gives your roster construction, your elite players to score into the lineup, and then you're basically building around the puzzle pieces on the back end. But we're scooping Charbonnet here, right? I mean, pick
Yeah, I
122,
would.
16 picks after ADP, better price than any other drafter in BBM4, especially the early drafters. So,
Hey, take the negative news now because
right,
once they clear him, he's going to go right back to where he's getting drafted at
right.
beforehand.
So what's funny is like we flip flop this, like Charbonnet at pick 95, Rashad Penny at pick 122. It's not like a huge plus minus when you look at it that way. Those two kind of cancel each other out, but I'm fine with that. I just wanted Penny for this team. Obviously, we're going to have to steam wide receivers, but we're strong at tight end. We're done at tight end. We're strong at QB. We're done at QB. I mean, we have a really nice base at RB, and wide receivers, obviously, this is probably going to be an 8 wide receiver build, and it doesn't even need to be. Like,
do you think we're going to see some like really wacky like weekly winner squads, like where you pull up the winning team and it's like this dude only drafted 4 receivers, but he hit all 4 because they were the top elite receivers, and then everything else was just like random bullets, like running backs, tight ends, quarterbacks.
It could be
like stuff like that.
You could definitely run into that. I think you're going to see like people that built around 3 running backs. You know, maybe it was like CMC, Ramondre, and James Conner. You know what I mean?
And then you just stop at those 3 guys, but then your whole
right.
team is just built out.
You're going to see teams. I think what actually has the best chance to win, because the least amount of people are doing it, is focusing 1 week. Say it's week 7 because there's a lot of people on bye that week, or week 13, a lot of people on bye that week. And you focus that week and you find out the best matchups. You get a QB, 1 or 2 of the pass catchers, you get to bring back. You really target the best games in that specific week. When other people aren't doing that, think about DFS and how much price changes based on matchups.
Right.
Like you wouldn't be able to build that team in DFS because it'd be too expensive when you're targeting all the best matchups. I think that's what actually is going to be like, that'll actually give you the best chance to win one given week.
Right.
Do you sacrifice, like, then you get into the talk of, am I sacrificing tiers to do that?
A little bit.
And all that. So it's very interesting. You're going to see people hit random parlays that didn't know what they were doing, just kind of drafting based off ADP or whatever, which I think's a fine strategy too.
Right. If you're ADP scooping and you're not getting guys that are like out or suspended, like those first 4 weeks, everybody's active. So it doesn't matter your ADP in the first 4 weeks. And then obviously the weeks that no teams have buys,
Yeah. Yep. I agree. It'll be interesting to see. And the weeklies, if you guys didn't catch our stream with Dooley, go peek that. It was like 3-4 videos ago. I'd watch both of them. Insane data that he dropped, and just kind of use it to project what's going to work in the future. Like when I look at data,
his Excel sheet put mine to shame. Mine looks
It
my
was
Excel sheet looked like it was made by like a 5-year-old compared to
it's
what he put into his,
it's
which impressive.
and that's fine. Like it's how you use that information, how you use that data. I think that is the most impactful, and we need wide receivers here, like bad at this point. This is a team where we're probably gonna have to reach at receiver if we don't get someone we like.
Hey, there's some guys here. There's some guys that can play football.
I wouldn't mind going one more RB in this range too, just because the receivers are gross. If we don't want to reach like a ridiculous amount,
I mean, I agree. You have 3 running backs, so you could definitely take another
yeah.
one here.
And then our next 5 picks are probably receivers until the end of drafts where we're picking. Wow, I didn't think Mims was gonna go.
I told you,
Fine.
people are gonna take him.
Elijah Mitchell at 143.
That feels nice.
That feels nice.
Sure.
That definitely feels nice.
Sure.
A little mini here with Ayuk as well.
I'll be honest. I'm not clicking on Miller at the moment, but
Should be.
I like Van Jefferson, obviously.
Yeah, he'd be a bring back for us too with the Danny Dimes stack. It is frustrating that this guy is going to take 9 full minutes with this draft with 18 picks going full 30 seconds. Prick.
I mean, if you didn't have Njoku, you could have had Higbee here too for the bring back.
Yeah, that'd be fine too. I don't mind bringing Higbee as a bring back as well. Higbee's probably and Komet, 2 guys that are probably going too late in these drafts, making that 3 tight end build.
Komet makes no sense to me where he's going. I think he should be way higher.
All right, bring in Van.
Yeah,
get in the van. Get in the van.
How does a guy who just gets a huge bag, a huge contract extension, so you know the Bears believe in Komet, right? And he put up really decent numbers last year. Why is he going in this range?
2 games with 2 tight end or 2 games with 2 touchdowns. He has a nice ceiling. He's the red zone guy.
If you go to like boom or bust and you look at the numbers too, like he had a good percentage of boom games.
Dude, I only know how to sell him. I don't even know where I would start to try to sell a fade, But I'm in on Komet big time in this range. And this is what's tough about, like, I love the 3 tight end builds because you can get insane values so deep in the draft. Sam Laporta, there was an injury to the starting tight end. Was his Visca? What's his name? Sliska, something like that.
On Detroit?
Yeah.
Wait,
injury today.
I thought Sam Laporta was
Brock Wright.
I thought he was Sam was the number 1 since he got drafted.
He's gonna split a little bit with Brock Wright though. I think Brock Wright's gonna be more the blocking tight end. But we had an injury here, which I mean, injury to depth when you're a rookie just gets you on the field, gets you more reps.
Oh, because I thought I saw like some news on Sam. They said the coach, not Campbell, maybe the tight end coach, basically said Sam has earned his right to be in the huddle with the first team.
Damn. I love that. Yeah, he's gonna be steamed up. Like he's someone that I'll be targeting too. Like he's probably gonna reach up to this Higbee range pretty soon.
But again, everybody knows like rookie tight ends are sometimes hard to trust in the NFL because it's the hardest.
But landing spot matters though. If we look back at the tight ends and where they went, the offenses they went to, like Jared Goff and Detroit have a great offense. They're able to put up good fantasy numbers. And I think Sam Laporta, as a tight end, you don't even have to put up as many points for it to be worth it. You have 6 weeks where JMO isn't going to be involved due to the suspension. So like he has just more time to earn a role, which could really, really kind of slingshot that production for a rookie tight end earlier into the season. Where you're right, like typically, it doesn't pay off, but these landing spots are insane. Like Kincaid to Buffalo.
I mean, that's as good as it can be, but I still don't know what's going on. Like, I still believe in Knox.
Me too. And we're seeing 2 tight end sets in practice. Loving it.
I
Loving it.
mean, I was drafting obviously Knox when he was in like the 135 range in the beginning, but I continue to scoop him now that he's like 180. Like, I don't
Yeah.
see why you wouldn't like him. He's the last tight end that's even like on the list that I look at and I'm like, I don't want to take anybody else on this list.
I agree. We're at 23 likes, guys. Go down, drop a like. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. We're doing a 24-hour live stream if we can hit 1,000 subscribers before NFL kickoff. We have a free best ball draft guide in the Discord that was just updated. Takes a while to do that thing, but I do it for the people and completely free for the YouTube subscribers. So make sure you take advantage of that.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears going to that thing.
What was that?
I said a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Oh my God.
Go into that sheet.
Absolutely. And this is the third update. I'm going to do one more at 75% fill rate. The last one was at like 45% fill rate. So very recent too.
When do you think Underdog starts panicking and they start sending in the Underdog bots to start filling this thing up?
Jeez.
You know it would happen.
We'll see. Fuck. I didn't mind Chark here too, which is sad.
What about Ford or Hodgins? There you go.
Hodgins for sure. We have the correlation.
Mechie is another guy I could see going up the board if you want to take him after this.
100%.
This guy in front of you sleeping, I wouldn't worry about it.
This dude's just picking random people. He's just slapping names.
I think he just wakes up at the last second and then he just clicks.
I don't even mind going Devontae Parker at 191 if he falls back to us. Let's zoom out a little bit. First pick's Kenny Pickett at 168. Does he have any Pittsburgh correlation? He is Deontay Johnson.
Okay.
Like, I actually don't hate the draft. I don't love the random Matthew Stafford pick. That's for sure.
Yeah, me either.
But that's a real head scratcher right there.
Maybe he wants to bring in like Tutu Atwell or something at the end. Or Puka. Maybe Puka.
All right. Bring in Mechie here for sure, in my opinion.
Love it.
So I think we're catching up at receiver. We definitely need an 8th. And that would be shit. Like, we can go 2 RBs too with this team.
Yeah.
This can be a 2-6-8-2 build. And I think this is fucking strong, to be honest.
Don't give away any of your, late round dart
the late round RBs.
Yeah.
They're out there. We'll leave them a secret. I'll send you a private chat.
I think you said you wanted to go James Robinson.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Don't, shh. Supposed to keep, said the quiet part out loud. Dude, Paul, 115 weekly winners, teams done. Kid's going to be sweating.
Damn. And I thought I was fast.
How many are you at?
130.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's solid.
Damn.
That's solid. Can't complain about that. Devontae Parker at 175 being steamed up. 15 picks. I'm over here thinking I'm going to get him at 191. His ADP is 190. This guy needed another receiver, though. So I don't mind steaming him up to this spot.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely did that to yourself.
Yeah, right. He put himself in a position, that's for sure.
No, you did by saying his name.
No, come on. He's not in the live stream. And if he is, let's see. Gets Dawson 79 is nice. He went Kincaid 16 picks before ADP. I think he's just going and getting his guys. This is a clear bring back too for his his Buffalo stack.
Yeah.
And if he wanted to, he could have probably got him at 186, but I think I don't mind the pick there. Coming back around, I'd be cool with basically, maybe like this. Maybe something like this. Hyatt, I would just add him for the Daniel Jones stack. Not necessarily higher on Hyatt than I am Taekwon or Shakir.
Throwing you a couple names behind the scenes.
All right. Names. Ooh, one of those names is spicy. One of those names is spicy.
People don't, people don't think about it.
It's true. There should be like one of those guys to be left at 215 for us.
I would say two of those guys for sure.
Here's a 3 late QB strategy. Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, and Ryan Tannehill. Is it correlated? Dubs works. Yeah, I don't know, dude. The uncorrelated Purdy, uncorrelated Ryan Tannehill's not as bad in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But like you still probably want one pass catcher to raise your upside. And then just having Romeo Doubs to Jordan Love, like I don't love that.
Let me put one more name out there because I liked this player. I don't want to say his name because it's going to give away the second one. But then I heard some news in terms of name spell his name right.
Yeah. It's a name. He's breathing. He's got eyes and hair.
I think I spelled it right. I missed the letter on the end.
Knox. Good pick by Kings. Brings in his third tight end. Dolchich, Juwan Johnson, and Knox. Like, I like this group.
Dude, just I like look at Knox. That value is sick.
Hashtag my guys right there at tight end.
Yeah.
Juwan Johnson's my highest owned tight end. Dawson Knox is close behind.
I have a lot of Tyler Conklin too, just because the range he goes.
Mm-hmm. Auto pick? Jerome Ford? Dude, do we want to just go an RB here?
I think you have to pick Ford, man.
Yeah,
it's kind of disrespectful that he's fallen this much.
I can't. Like, we can go Slayton too.
I don't care about those other running backs around him, but
yeah, I think we had to.
The news is too good on him, man.
Yeah, it's way too good. It's way too good. He's the backup guy. Like
if he had negative news, I could see him like getting pushed out of draft rooms, but nothing's bad about him right now.
We scooped at RB. We really scooped at RB and made this team work.
I like it.
Oh my god.
Now, do you want to go a 2-6-8 or?
Most likely, like when I think about who would spike into this lineup, like do we think another receiver would really make a difference on this team? Like I don't even think I wouldn't go a third pass catcher on the Giants. I think that's when you start to lower your upside on a single week basis.
Yeah.
Here's a nice sleeper sleep, but
I think we take a running back here, and I think you make it spicy.
Yeah, it is. It will be. Like we got the spice out for that reason. But guys, if you haven't already, go down, drop a like. We're trying to pop 30 likes on this video by the end of this draft. That is the goal. 30 like-a-roos. Gus Edwards at 200. What are your thoughts on Gus right now? Like, I don't think he should be someone that's falling.
Not like, with the situation with Dobbins right now and between Gus and, now you got Melvin Gordon there, but yeah, if Dobbins has to miss a little bit of time or if he has some contract dispute with them, like Gus is looking really good at his value right now. Like, he's definitely the clear second back in my opinion, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I would say so. And he's run over
And
people
on
in
a
camp.
pretty
So
good like rushing team. Like they have a good offensive line. So I
I
like
think
him
they're
a
somewhere
lot.
in the middle back of the pack. Like Todd Monk, I guess the scare is if they just decide to throw the ball a whole hell of a lot more than they did in previous seasons under the other OC. So
But he's gonna get chances, man. That's all that
yeah.
matters in
Oh,
football, right? Like if they give you 10 carries and you suck, it's on you. But you could make 10 carries into like a pretty good game. And then they probably continue running the ball if the game is, in your favor.
and then you have news about a potential injury to Dobbins making you the potential RB1 on first and second down. Like, yeah, I think it's an insane storyline for Gus. He shouldn't be someone that's falling right now.
If the Dobbins news was all good right now, no contract disputes, he wasn't unhappy, he's fully
Mm-hmm.
healthy, he looks great. Gus is kind of going like where he should be. But
Mm-hmm.
with all things considered, like I think he deserves like a little bit more respect on his name.
I'd agree. Definitely agree.
Do you have any idea where you're going with this pick without saying anything?
I have a place that I'm leaning.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm leaning somewhere. I don't know if it's gonna work.
Really?
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll talk about
Okay.
it.
Interesting.
Chuba's there. I mean, like, if Chuba makes it back to us, do we just go Chuba? You know what I mean?
I personally am not a big fan of him, and especially with the news that's coming out of Carolina that they're
About black shit.
basically no, not even about him. They're just saying that Miles Sanders is going to be the dude, and he's going to get first, second down, and third down work. So where does that bring in these other guys now? I thought Blackshear could be a third down back, but apparently Miles Sanders is going to do it all.
I'm between these two right now.
Let's go Davis. Why not? I like it. He's got good news.
I have enough Chuba to be completely fine of like not picking him there too.
Dude, I'm worried about Chuba a little bit, if I'm being honest. I mean, what, why are you drafting him in case Sanders gets hurt? Is that the MO?
I would guess so. Yeah. I mean, why are you drafting any running back in this range?
Yeah. Well,
You know what I mean?
true. Yeah,
It's
you're
like,
right.
can you get lucky with an injury to the number one? Is how you unlock any upside for Malik Davis. It's how you unlock any upside for Chuba too. But that would
Right,
become
but
a
Davis is a
timeshare.
little bit more unique than like Chuba. Like Chuba is probably getting drafted in like 90% of lobbies, and then you have Malik Davis that
Exactly.
gets drafted in
Exactly.
maybe like 20%, if
I
less.
I do think that is the sex appeal right there. That he hasn't been drafted, especially. What do you think in 3% right now? Because he's being selected as of late.
Very, very low. So you're basically like you have a low exposure guy that if this
Right.
team gets into the playoffs, like you could be the only one with Malik Davis on your squad.
I do like that. Joshua Kelly, another one, like kind of like the sure number two, in my opinion. If there were an injury to Eckler, like Kelly's valuable for sure.
And I think Kelly is like he has more of a role than Malik Davis if even if Eckler's healthy, I think Joshua Kelly has a little bit of a better role than Davis has with Pollard. Pollard's healthy.
Yeah. Well, we almost hit the light goal. We gotta wrap this one up. Nick, you got anything for the people?
No. Thanks for having me on, man. This was fun. So
yeah, I mean, we're gonna be doing battle royales too. I know you'll join us for those in season. And if you guys don't know, we took down week 18 battle royale last season, and we plan on taking down a few more with Nicholas here in the live stream potentially.
Easy 25K for you, huh?
Oh my God, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's good in my book, my friend. He's good in my book.
Not a bad
payday. All right, guys. I appreciate everyone coming out. If you could, drop a like on the way out. Drop a comment if you're feeling a little fruity after the video posts. I appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Pounders.